Hi, I'm Morgan Doremus with RT Book Reviews, and I'm here today with author Meg Gardiner.
Hi.
Hi, you're here for Thriller Fest.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, so just a bunch of mystery, thriller, and suspense authors coming together to talk shop and
Absolutely talking about what makes your heroine and your hero tick, and who the best villains are, and how to kill people, that kind of thing.
I know some people have a little bit of trouble maybe classifying exactly what your novels are. Would you consider yourself more a mystery writer, a thriller writer, suspense?
Definitely a thriller writer. My books are very fast-paced. They have a lot of action. They have love story always is running underneath. There are always mysterious elements and a lot of suspense, but I think because they are so fast-paced and usually have some kind of a plot element that's big, then I would say definitely they're thrillers, which I love to write, I love to read, and that's why I do it.
I have your newest book here, The Liar's Lullaby, and this came out just a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really exciting. This is another Jo Beckett novel.
It is set in San Francisco. Please go ahead.
Set in San Francisco. And I know you have just a ton of your fans are just Jo Beckett all of the way. She is fantastic.
I'm glad you think so. I enjoy writing her. Jo is a California girl. She is athletic, outdoorsy. She's a rock climber. She would be your best friend. She'd be a good neighbor. But she's a forensic psychiatrist. She's a doctor, not a cop, and she is a consultant for the San Francisco Police Department. She handles the tough cases that are insoluble. She performs psychological autopsies when the police and the medical examiner can't figure out why somebody has died. They call her in as a last resort.
And I love the psychological autopsy. Before I read your books, I didn't know that that really existed.
It is a thing. The forensic psychiatry is a real specialty, and what she does is when the police know how somebody died, but they can't figure out why, whether it was an accident, suicide, or murder, they call Jo to investigate the victim's life, to look at everything about their mental state, their family, their friends, whether somebody intended them harm, whether they were clumsy, whether they were suicidal, and she has to try to figure out what caused their death.
And I really like, I think in one of the first books that Jo was in, she says she's not a head shrinker, she's a soul shrinker.
And a dead shrinker.
And a dead shrinker, right?
Yes.
And I thought that was so interesting because she really does have to investigate it really deeply into these dig into the real minutiae of the person, in their life and their background and who they associated with to really find answers.
Yeah, I love CSI, but I wanted to turn CSI inside out, really. Real life is a lot more messy than is indicated in a show about a crime lab sometimes, and you really don't know what happened just from the physical evidence. And I thought it was, a fresh field and really interesting to find out what happened to somebody psychologically, spiritually, morally that caused their death. That's what Jo has to investigate. So I thought that was a lot of fun.